With SNAP benefits running out of money in a matter of days, the state of Washington is taking legal action. We'll break down their fight to keep the assistance coming.
Rain is back in the forecast. We're talking tomorrow morning showers and the chance of rain Halloween night.
It's exhausting and it's delightful to know that he's being held accountable.
The teen accused of hitting and killing the CHAS COO over the summer is heading back to jail after violating his release terms. Hear from the victim's family tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. As the government shutdown approaches the 1-month mark, we are just days away from SNAP benefits running out of money. Now, Washington's Attorney General is joining a multi-state lawsuit against the USDA aimed at stopping the suspension of the benefits. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy has the details tonight.
The well is wrung dry is one of the first things to read on the USDA's website as a response to SNAP benefits going away at the start of November. The website shows roughly 42 million people currently rely on the food assistance program, but the Trump administration says those funds won't be available in just a few days. The reason? They say due to the government shutdown, there's no money available to fund the program. This prompted Washington Attorney General Nick Brown joining alongside 22 more attorneys general and 3 governors in a lawsuit against the USDA. In a statement, Brown describes the impending cuts as unnecessary and illegal. He says the United States Department of Agriculture has contingency funding available for times like these, but the Trump administration is refusing to use it. The lawsuit argues SNAP has $6 billion in reserve funds designated for when the government is shut down, and therefore funds shouldn't be put on hold. The USDA has rejected the idea of using contingency funds to keep food aid afloat and blames Democratic lawmakers for voting 12 times to not fund the food stamp program. Roughly 1 in 8 people in the United States receive food stamps. State leaders argue in the suit that the suspension of SNAP benefits, even during a government shutdown, is illegal and will harm millions of families who rely on the program. Governor Bob Ferguson posted to X on the matter, saying political games from President Trump and congressional Republicans are harming the most vulnerable Washingtonians. We're fighting to protect the people of our state. Governor Ferguson also announced today he'll be reserving $2.2 million each week to go towards food banks while the shutdown is still active, starting November 1st. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's talk weather on this Tuesday night with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, it was a chilly start to the day today. How's it looking for tomorrow?
Tomorrow looking a little bit warmer, and it's really starting right now. Mark, check this out. Believe it or not, we still sit at 45 degrees this late at night. We topped out at 47 today. All of that warmth has been trapped due to cloud cover and moisture. Moisture already making its way over the Cascades in a few spots, but it doesn't look like the widespread showers hit us for another few hours. 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, it gets going, and that's when I think it comes down the hardest. It does look like it moves out in the 7 o'clock hour, and by 8, we're dry in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. A few lingering showers down across the Palouse, but northeast Washington and much of North Idaho looking pretty good. By tomorrow afternoon, it's back to sunshine across much of the inland Northwest. And the next few days, well, they offer a bit of everything. 52 degrees tomorrow after the round of morning showers. We should pick up at least 1/10 of an inch of rain, a decent soaking, if you will. Partly cloudy on Thursday and a high of 48 degrees. 48 degrees on Halloween. It does look like we have a chance of rain, but it's also looking like that chance of rain holds off until later in the evening. We'll talk why that is coming up in the full forecast.
Then, Jeremy, thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Police arrested a second person in connection to a shooting just blocks from Gonzaga's campus. That shooting happened off East Mission Avenue and North Cincinnati Street just a little more than a week ago. Last week, we learned that Zachary McGriff would face first-degree murder charges. Now, Spokane police say they've arrested McGriff's nephew, Marius Velasquez. Velasquez also faces first-degree murder along with first-degree robbery charges. Police say that shooting started as a dispute over the title of a car. A former student at Spokane Salk Middle School has been awarded damages after being attacked at school back in 2021. The student and his family believe he was attacked for being a transgender student. The fight was caught on video. It shows another student hitting the child where other students watched, recorded, and laughed. At the time, one student was charged with fourth-degree assault. The family sued the Spokane Public School District for not protecting him. That case ended on Friday with a $60,000 judgment for the student, and that money will be shared with his parents and lawyers. An update tonight on the case of former Shoshone County Sheriff Holly Lindsay. She resigned from her position last week following a traffic incident in her personal vehicle while she was off duty. We are now learning the Shoshone County Prosecutor's Office has handed over the case to the Attorney General's office for review. Shoshone County Prosecutor Benjamin Allen told KREM 2 via email, quote, "I can confirm that no other vehicles were involved in this incident, which seemed to have been a point of confusion within the information that has been circulating." He goes on to state that since the matter is still under investigation, he cannot reveal any further details. KREM 2 will continue to follow up and see if any charges will be filed. And that'll do it for your Night Beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com.
It's so much worse than you think.
We have an update tonight. The suspect in the alleged hit and run that killed CHAS CEO Sarah Doxey found himself before a judge yet again for an ankle monitor violation. KREM 2's Christian Garza sat inside that hearing today and spoke exclusively with the victim's family.
It was an emotional day in court for both families involved. However, Sarah Doxey's family tells me that every time they walk through those doors, it's like constantly starting over. This afternoon in a Spokane County juvenile courtroom.
It's so much worse than you think.
Sherry Ann and her family sat quiet as they have every hearing since her sister's death.
Please rise.
A process they say never gets easier.
We will learn to move on eventually, but every time we have to come here, we rip the scab off. It's like we're starting all over again every time. That's been the hardest part.
Today, a Spokane County judge decided whether or not the 18-year-old suspect, Keegan Forshee, allegedly responsible for her sister's death, will be allowed to leave police custody again. A scenario Sarah's husband, Eric Doxey, says would be a nightmare.
Learning to live a new life without your significant other and the mother of your children is something I would not wish on my worst enemy.
CHAS COO Sarah Doxey died after being hit by a car while on an early morning run in mid-July. A month after being arrested, then 17-year-old Forshee was released from juvenile custody with an ankle monitor while awaiting trial after pleading not guilty to DUI, hit and run, as well as vehicular homicide charges. Now, Forshee is back in court for a re-retention hearing following an ankle monitor violation.
That said any violation to result in a rehearing of detention.
When we were in the ICU room, knowing that she wasn't going to make it, I made a decision then that anytime my sister's name was said in court, I would be here. Because it is the last thing I can do for her.
In court, officials say Forshee allegedly had two friends come over to his house to help him remove tattoos from his arms, which directly violates terms set forth by a judge back in August.
But the other thing that everyone is correct on is there are no minor violations.
Today, a judge decided that Forshee will remain in adult custody until a later court date.
That will conclude this matter.
Something Doxey's mother, Carolyn, says the family is grateful for.
It's exhausting and it's delightful to know that he's being held accountable.
Forshee is expected to be back in court on January 26th for his trial. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, don't go to bed just yet. A government program meant to support kids got a recent infusion of cash despite the government shutdown. Coming up, why many of the program's services still won't be open come Monday. But first, with the election now just 1 week away, voters in Spokane will decide the fate of the Together Spokane initiative. A deep dive into the parks levy and school bond in just 90 seconds.